on guys, it's J Mass and I'm back again with another dope New England adventure. And you know, I've never filmed an introduction like this before in a really dark abandoned building with a flashlight shining directly on me. Does this even look good? How does this intro look? Well anyways guys, we're going to be exploring yet another abandoned house today. Like most of my abandoned house explorations, I'm not going to be saying where this house is located. All I'll tell you is that we're currently here in Massachusetts, and we're also right next to a highway. The highway is very loud and noisy, as are most highways, so I do apologize if you hear a lot of rushing traffic in the background. I actually forgot my microphone, unfortunately, so hopefully it's not too loud while we're exploring. But I'm going to keep it at that. I'm not really going to say where we are. It is actually somewhat secluded, though, despite being next to a highway. Very overgrown with a lot of foliage and vegetation. The other thing I learned about this house online, and take this with a grain of salt because I don't know how true this is. I personally don't think it's true, but when you look up this abandoned house on different real estate websites, they all list the same construction date. They say that this house was built in the late 1700s. Now, obviously, we're here in New England. There's a lot of houses left standing from the 1700s, but this specific abandoned house, I don't know. I don't buy it personally. I think it was built much later. Maybe it's possible it was built on a foundation from the 1700s, or you know, maybe it extended on a house from the 1700s. I don't know. Again, I don't buy it personally, but keep that with a grain of salt. This is supposedly a house from the late 1700s. But nonetheless, we're just going to get right into it, guys. We're going to be exploring yet another abandoned house here in Massachusetts. This is one I've had my eye on for quite some time. I've known about this for about a year or two now, and I'm excited to just get started. So, as always, if you guys love urban exploration, checking out abandoned sites, traveling New England and beyond, I'm always doing that on the channel, so feel free to subscribe to the channel. I also want to give a major shout out to all my channel members. You can see them right here. You guys are awesome. And I'd love it if you too, viewer, became a member of the channel. You'd be supporting me and the channel directly, and I truly appreciate it. Or you can follow me on Instagram at JMassOfficial. That's at JMassOfficial. We're just going to get started and explore this abandoned house here in Massachusetts, one that I've known about for quite some time. Let's get started. All right, guys, and with that, we're going to get started and explore this abandoned house here in Massachusetts, located right next to a highway. So again, I apologize if the background is kind of noisy. I'm going to try to speak kind of loud. But as you can see, we have a pretty torn up abandoned room right here. Not really much going on. I should be upfront, there's not too much in this house. It's largely empty and gutted, but there are a few interesting things left behind. You know, some trinkets and remnants. I'm excited to look through them with you guys. I haven't done too much digging yet. We're actually more specifically right next to a patio. This is the outside of the house right here. Almost looks like there's a little barn out back. We'll have to check that out, but there is some graffiti here, so we are not the first people to ever explore this. This house is clearly pretty ran through. The patio is also in rough shape. You can see a chair over there with no cushion, completely destroyed and decayed wood on the patio. But yeah, we're gonna head inside and just poke around to see what's going on. I'm gonna try to keep this exploration relatively brief, so I probably won't spend too much time here, but I don't know, I'm excited to see what's going on. So right here, we got the brick fireplace, looking pretty snazzy. This was the first thing I noticed though when I got here. Check this out. You guys remember these when you were kids? Now this is specifically a play school sit and spin. I don't know what brand I had, but when I was a kid, I had one of these things. If you don't know how it works, you sit and you spin. That's why it's called a sit and spin. I remember having one of these when I was a kid. A lot of fun to play around on, especially when you're a baby. But it's just kind of sitting there in the middle of this abandoned house. But again, for the most part, this house is largely empty, not too much going on in here. It's also in very rough shape, very heavily decayed and deteriorating. You can see right here, the ceiling is getting pretty torn up. Yeah, this house is not in great shape. I also want to give a shout out to one of my friends and frequent collaborators in the Urbex community, Noah Faraday, because he himself actually came to this house. He went here before me. So definitely check out his channel. He has a pretty cool video exploring this house as well. Not even the first one to film it. Wow, okay, this is the bathroom right here, and man, you can see how rough of shape this house is in. Look at this. Drywall and insulation everywhere. Of course, the abandoned toilet. You guys know I have to film that in every video. Bathtub right over there with the shower curtain. Now that's rare. You rarely ever see shower curtains left behind, especially in abandoned homes of this caliber. Now this I do want to take a look at. What is this? Oh, it's for a universal remote, control universal remote. I just wanted to see if there was potentially a date on there. If you guys don't know, if you're new to the channel, I love finding dates on documents and records when I'm exploring. Kind of gives an idea or a time frame of when the house was abandoned. Speaking of which, what's this? Birds and Bloom's Backyard Companion. I doubt this has a date, but I'll just really quickly check. I hate touching things in abandoned houses. Always so disgusting. No date on that. Probably not. It looks just more like an informative pamphlet. All right, let's peek in here. Another abandoned room with not much going on. This looks like the back of the chimney, actually. Oh, another thing. Look at this. A Stephen King book, The Drawing of the Three. I'm not familiar with that novel, but if any of you guys are familiar, let me know in the comments. Let me know what it's about. Definitely a little ominous, though, seeing a Stephen King book in an abandoned building, you know, considering he usually writes horror stories. You know, not the best sign. Okay, so we were just in this room. That's where we started. Maybe let's poke around over here. I think this is just a closet. Yeah, just an empty closet. Okay, this looks like the end of this house, actually, right outside. Let's just poke around here. This looks like it might have been a kitchen of some sorts. Yeah, this was definitely the kitchen right here. Got the sink. A lot of random stuff left behind. What is this? This is ultra high potency vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. So some sort of vitamin supplement thing. Oh, you got Jello, Sure Gel. Now that's a classic. This makes me think that this is an old dwelling, you know, abandoned for quite some time, because to me, I don't know, maybe I'm too young, but to me that just screams like 1970s or 1980s, maybe even 1990s, which actually is my theory. I think this place was abandoned in the 80s or 90s. Wow. Looks like some pickled or fermented food that is boarded up so we can't get in there. Okay, that's pretty much it for this ground floor. That was really it, pretty short. There is an upper level, so we're gonna head up there next, but yeah, for the ground level of this specific part of the house, that's it. All right, guys, so we're gonna head upstairs in a second, but really quickly, I think I might have found an indication of what season this was abandoned. I see some Christmas stuff lying around. You can see right here, we got some pieces of fake holly lying here, you know, deck the halls with boughs of holly, that kind of thing. There's a ribbon right here, and then over here, looks like a Christmas gift bow. So I don't know, maybe it was abandoned sometime in Christmas. Just a theory. An urbex theory. Okay, now we're gonna head up these stairs and go to the upper level. This is the level I haven't been up to yet. Oh, I see some more graffiti. As I stated, we are far from the first people to get here. I'm not even the first person to film this house. All right, we're upstairs. This is the upper level. And I see some pretty cool wallpaper. Look at this wallpaper. Always love finding abandoned wallpaper in homes. So this makes me think that children probably lived up here. Oh, pretty creepy abandoned chair just sitting there. And then there's a view outside. So as you can see, there is another extension of the house. We'll get to that after. But yeah, look at that abandoned chair. Not much else in this room though. It's pretty empty actually. Some weird furniture over here. Okay, this graffiti says up. Well, let's look up. Oh, and there's the attic. So there is an upper level, although there's no way to get up there unless you climb, which I'm definitely not doing. Man, not too much in here, pretty empty. I'm a little nervous about the structural integrity of this flooring, so I'm gonna try to be a little cautious as I walk around. Wow, okay, look at this. So this is clearly the bedroom, or one of the bedrooms. I think it's the only bedroom in this house. Closet right here with not much going on. Yeah, an overturned bed. See the bed frame and mattress completely overturned. It's kind of weird. And then just random odds and bits just lying around, you know, nothing crazy. So that is pretty much about it for this abandoned house. Now, obviously, there's another extension of the house. We're gonna get to that, but for the specific part of the house I'm in, that was actually it. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna head out of this structure. We're gonna head to those ones that you can see right outside the window. So these are our next to-do list. All right, guys, so we just left that other house that we explored. And of course, by other house, I mean the other extension of this building. We're now at the other side right here, which I haven't explored yet, but I can already tell this one's gonna be a little more interesting because look at the first thing I was greeted with when I walked over to this door. I mean, wow, this is cool. Now, you can call me uncultured in the comments. Keep in mind, I'm literally only 26, but if I'm not mistaken, this is an old school TV. Look at that. So the brand is Admiral. You can see you can change the volume, the channel, they have tuning, picture. I've never seen an old TV like that. Again, keep in mind, I'm pretty young. So if you have any older folks in the comments, please let me know anything you know about this style of abandoned technology. I'm like 99% sure it's a TV. For all I know, it's a radio. I don't know, but let me know in the comments. I'm genuinely curious because this is fascinating. But anyways, we are gonna head inside. And again, you can see there's a lot more going on. This place is packed to the brim with stuff to see when compared to the other house, which was virtually empty and gutted. So this is a nice sight to behold. For reference, we were just right over there. Wow, I don't even know where to begin. There's so much to see. I'll try not to spend too much time, looking at things too closely, but you can see that this is some sort of barn or shed. It looks like it's nearly all just hardware and tools. So if I'm correct, we were just in the house where they lived, the bedrooms, bathrooms, all that stuff. Now we're in the workshop or the barn or the tool shed. So they were definitely, whoever lived here was a handyman. All right, let's try to get over here and get a better look. Ultrasonic humidifier by Control Air. That's interesting. It looks like another humidifier. That says Clean Mist. Wow, a lot of interesting stuff lying around. A lot of tools. Anyone in my comments into hardware and working with their hands, let me know. Let me know if you see anything interesting in here. Anything valuable? Anything retro? Okay, so there's obviously a lot of newspaper clippings, little magazines and advertisements. What's the word I'm looking for? Catalogs. You can see a lot of those. I'm going to try to see if I can find a date, because again, dates are what I like to look for. Let me see if this one has a date. This one, try not to show it on camera because it says the name of a nearby city. Okay, I don't see a date. I'm not leaving, and I'm not going to stop looking until I find at least one date. That's all I want, just one date. Come on, give me a date. Give me a damn date. I'm going to do a little bit more digging until I find a date, then I'll let you guys know. Good news, guys, I did find a date, 2002. So that newspaper was from 2002. Wow, pretty cool. So I guess we're dealing with the early 2000s here. I actually would have guessed this place was abandoned in the 90s, but early 2000s, I can see that too. I mean, that was over 20 years ago. Oh my God, can't believe it. Anyways, yeah, other than that, there's a lot of hardware bits and bobs lying around. I don't even know what half this stuff is. This, though, is kind of cool. Look at this wall. A lot of miscellaneous tools just sitting here. This is the other cool thing I saw. A lot of, looks like can lids. Never seen anything like that. Man, I feel like I have a spider in my hair right now. One thing that's kind of gross when you go to abandoned locations is there's spider webs everywhere. And of course, that means there's spiders everywhere. Luckily, I'm not afraid of spiders or anything, but I don't like having them crawl all over me, that's for sure. Okay, pretty sick room here. Look at this. This is interesting. We're clearly in a barn of some sorts. You can see this is a lot more rustic than the other building we were in, but this is weird. So there's like an upper level and a lower level, but it's only by like a few feet. That's kind of weird. Never seen anything like that. Almost like a mini loft. Although it's very messy here. I don't even know how we can get around. Try to see if there's anything else of interest. There is a ladder that looks like it goes up, although it's a little sketchy. Can I do that while filming? Bear with me, guys. I'm going to try to get up here while filming. did it. So we're now on this upper level. We were just at, oh, there's another level here. Look at that. I'm probably not going to bother going up there. It looks like it's just old furniture. Although I do see what looks like a baby's crib right there on a table. Kind of fascinating. This is where we just were. Just a lot of miscellaneous junk lying around. But this part looks pretty fascinating. There's a lot of cool stuff here. Now, clearly these people have kids because I've seen a lot of children's toys. They got a Fisher-Price Play Family Farm right there. Anyone remember that when they were a kid? I see a National Geographic here from 1983. Wow, 1983. Have an old 99-cent cooking book. Pillsbury cooking book, that is. Apologies for getting my flashlight in the frame. This does not, oh, no. No year on that. I feel so disgusting touching that stuff. What else we got? Some shoes. Looks like a textbook. Let's see, what were these people studying? Understanding abnormal behavior. Okay, that's a little concerning. So maybe they were like a psychologist or a psychiatrist. This book is from 1986. So we got quite a few things from the 1980s here. So far we've had a 2002 newspaper and 2 other pieces of media from the 80s. All right, I feel like I'm spending a little too much time looking. You guys know I'm very curious when I explore. Let's try to be a little quicker. Let's keep on seeing what else is up here. Shadow box art, not familiar with that, but it says it's a paint by number kit. That's interesting. You don't see those too often. It's also very tough to walk through here. As you can see, it's almost like walking through a hoarder's den. See a lot of mice poop, which is also a little disgusting. Hopefully not bat poop. I've heard that's very toxic. Oh, wow, look at this, an old IBM manual. Let me make my way over here. Jeez. Programmed instruction course from IBM. So this must be really old coding. That's fascinating to see. So they probably had very early computers here. All right, guys, so we just explored that part of the barn. We're now gonna head down below into what appears to be the basement of the barn, the lower floor. Let's just peek under here really quick. So it looks like this is just some storage room, mostly logs and wood. Not really much in there. I'm not even gonna bother climbing under there. It's not worth it. But I am gonna head in here. This seems to be the actual basement of this abandoned barn. See what's going on here. Another chair. Some machine, which may or may not be a furnace. Can't really tell. Probably a furnace of some sort. Someone will correct me, I'm sure. We got an old school refrigerator. Check this out. Cool little refrigerator right here. Let me see if it maybe has a year, or not a year, a name. I don't see a brand name. That's kind of cool to see. Check that out. And of course, you got a lot of miscellaneous things lying around. Mr. Mulligan. Looks like some sort of model plane. That's kind of cool. Maybe they were into making model planes and trains and automobiles. Huge piece of furniture here. Oh, I'm trying to be careful where I step. It's so gross in here. Yeah, I don't know, some weird piece of furniture and a hard hat. Huh. Oh, wow, look at that. Old school Cheetos right there. Old school Cheetos. This is fascinating. Yeah, not too much in here. It's pretty small, but just some miscellaneous things lying around. Mostly looks like it's just furniture and debris. Random tire over there, which is strange, but, you know, par for the course. But I think that's really about it, guys. I believe we've seen everything there is to see at this abandoned house. So I'm going to end off with some exterior shots, kind of show you what this place looks like outside. And then I think that's about it. All right, guys, I'm not going to spend too much time outside just because there's not too much to see. But really quickly, I will show you the exterior. This is the exterior of the barn right here. It's all painted red, nice and red. Clearly abandoned. You can see everything's boarded up. There's also a lot of random stuff lying around as well. You can see it looks like some sort of mailbox maybe. A lot of random debris, basketball over there, and an egg carton or maybe your snowball maker. I don't know, random stuff lying around. They also have a really nice creek out back. Look at that. Really beautiful creek, some sort of stream. It's in a lovely area. Like if you love nature, this is a nice little spot. And then of course, that's the house we explored at the very beginning. Gotta watch a lot of thorns everywhere. But this is where we explored at the very beginning, this house right here. This house was definitely a little more mid, but this barn was fascinating. A lot of cool stuff in here. The last thing I'll do is show you guys the backyard. So I gotta go right through there again, and let's see what the backyard has in store. Not much to see here, but this right here is the backyard, just came through there. The back is completely covered in tag and graffiti, as you can see. Oh, let's actually peek in here. I don't think we were actually in this room. It looked like the garage was completely boarded up. This might be the garage. Oh yeah, we were definitely not in here. Yep, completely empty garage. I'm probably not gonna bother going in there, but you can see it. That's the garage door boarded up, random stuff lying around. But yeah, that's really about it. Pretty interesting backyard area as well. Very overgrown with foliage. The highway is right over there, so super noisy highway. And then you just get all secluded forest. It's just all forest, and then a lovely little creek over there. So I gotta say, it's actually a nice little area. If you like nature, if you like scenery, come buy this property. Here in Massachusetts, you know, knowing how the housing market is, I'm sure this is only a cool $800,000. Utilities not included. Hey, thank you guys for joining me. I've been J-Mass as always, and this has been another dope New England adventure. And today we explored this abandoned house nestled here in the woods of Massachusetts, right alongside a very busy highway. Pretty cool area. As you saw, we had the actual house itself, you know, the living space where the previous owners probably lived. And then we had some sort of barn or workshop right here. So it's actually a pretty big property, all things considered. And again, it's nestled in a nice little area. Got all the forests, the woods, nice creek out back. It's a cool spot. I would buy it. You know, nice little fixer-upper right here. But that's about it, guys. I think I'm gonna head out. It is actually late on a Friday as I film this. It's nearly 7 p.m. I know I don't usually film this late. But that's been about it. If you guys love urban exploration, checking out abandoned sites, traveling New England and beyond, I'm always doing that on this channel, so feel free to subscribe to the channel. I want to give a major shout out to all my channel members. You guys are awesome, and I'd love it if you too, viewer, became a member of the channel. You'd be supporting me and the channel directly, and you get your name in every video. Or you can follow me on Instagram at JMassOfficial. That's at JMassOfficial. And one final thing I want to say before I leave, thank you guys so much for 3 years on YouTube. Yesterday was actually my 3-year anniversary, May 15th. So I just want to, again, thank you guys for that. Much appreciated. 3 years of JMass, been pretty sick. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. This was a cool house exploration. See you later. Bruh, this abandoned house is so mid. There's literally nothing here. It's like pretty much empty. Boring abandoned house. Never mind, I lied. This house is sick.